Maulers yesterday. Get fucked.
Alright, here we are again. Episode 19 of 5 of the week. Currently pending a rebranding to ease up on the 5s and the strict 5 of the week formatting we've been dutifully obliging to since the dawn of time, I guess. But it's episode 19 and we're joined again by a cryptic pancake. Hello.
What up, everyone? It's a Cryptic Pancake, back for another podcast. And yeah, you already know what it is.
And yeah, you already know what it is as well. With this guy, it's the Texas Longhorns athletic director Taiwo.
Is that Robo?
No, Taiwo left. There's no Taiwo.
Sweet.
Oh, damn.
Hello. Hello, this is Taiwo.
Yeah,
You already know what it is.
Nice. Alright, so while we don't have 5 topics right here on hand, we can figure it out. We're gonna look at some seedings. In the SBA, there's been like around 70 games played, so nothing's yet set in stone there. Speaking of set in stone, in the NCAA there's 3 or 4 games remaining for most teams, and 5 teams are within 1 game of each other for the 16th seed, the final entry to the March Madness tournament. As the Fighting Irish athletic director, are you feeling the heat yet?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm feeling the heat because I didn't expect us to be in the position we're in. But I'm very happy with how my team's doing, and I think we can sneak in another win or two to put us above the Spartans and the Hoyas and the Bulldogs, and guarantee our, at least 1 game in the playoffs.
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah. I don't know if 28 wins is a low amount of wins to get to the March Madness. Let's see, in recent history, season 38. Oh yeah, it took 36 wins to get in. 37 even. So yeah, there's a little bit less parity. Well, I mean, it's starting to back itself in the middle more than. Or wait, am I reading this correctly? It looks to be around the same amount of teams with 50 wins, but no teams with like below 20 wins. So yeah, I guess I'm reading it correctly. Taiwo, for you the Longhorns aren't. Well, you're near a March tournament spot, but so are, as mentioned, a lot of other teams like the Spartans, Hoyas, Bulldogs, and the Oregon State Cowboys, who are that's a joke, by the way. The Oregon Ducks are 1 game behind, and then the Longhorns are 21st with 2 games behind. Did you expect this sort of a season, or would you have wished for more for the Longhorns?
I expected us to be bad because everybody left. But I didn't expect us to have this much of a chance at this time because we're only 3 games behind. We just need some teams to lose games and we have to win games and we'll make it somehow. But I'm not worrying about making March this year. So I'm happy with what we have this season.
Yeah, growing the newly recruited guys and getting rid of the inactive fillers for next year would be the main goal, I'd assume. But keeping up with the reigning champions Bulldogs and the Oregon Ducks, who were the champions before then, in that sense it almost looks like a great season, even for a rebuilding sort of a team. But well, what can you do? Then we can move to some other news around the league recently before we move to the whatever SBA stuff. The Oregon Ducks season 37 national champions are moving to Oklahoma State University. I believe Moholt with Malik McMillan will be their athletic director / head coach. What are your thoughts on this move?
Tyler, you want to take this first, or should I?
Yeah, I like the moving to Oklahoma State because they have more history than Oregon, and I would rather have a Oklahoma State than an Oregon team because Oregon is kind of boring. And I want to see what Moholt can do as an AD because I've never seen him in management before. I've only seen him as a player in Timber. But I'm scared that it's gonna be a little too good and be better than all the ADs.
Well, you can only be good to such an extent, which is, well, yeah, it's his league. He can be good to the extent he wants to be, I guess. Your thoughts then? Thank you.
Yeah, I also think having Mo as an AD will be pretty cool, and in the long run, it'll be good for the league. Even if he's better than everyone else, it's whatever. Shaka V2 or something, but whatever. So anyway, I think the move to change Oregon itself to Oklahoma State is also a good move, just because Oklahoma had more success in real life, and so more people will know it, because the Ducks are more of a football school.
Yeah.
And nevertheless, I would have kind of like, the Ducks have been a pretty successful franchise in the SBA, so it would have maybe been cool to see. Oh, wait a second. Okay, yeah, to see one of the Wildcats teams be replaced instead, so that there's less confusion. But
Yeah.
that's just me having a personal bias against all these Wildcats.
Yeah, some of the reasoning there is like Arizona is successful in SBA history, UK is like UK, and then
Yeah,
Villanova, I'm not sure like what's the reasoning there, but
I mean, they were also pretty successful IRL the past few
Yeah.
years, so
yeah, well, yeah,
they're
throughout the
a program people
2000s,
know.
yeah, I suppose. But then for the Huskies, Washington is obviously the whole nation away from Connecticut, and you know, they just two of the same like mascot name. That I can like live with, kinda, but 3 or more, that's thin ice already. So I guess having Buckeyes and Cowboys is definitely a sweet flavor to the.
No, I think they'll both be good moves for the SBA in the future.
Yeah, and speaking of Buckeyes, the other move to mention, the Washington Huskies then will be moving to the, I think it's Columbus, to be the Ohio
Yeah.
State Buckeyes. Yeah, I can't like go on record and lie and I know about the Ohio State real life history.
I mean, they've been decently successful. I know D'Lo has been there, and past few years, but he's literally the only dude I know. But they probably have other people, so.
I think I can just go and find out. Draftees. Got a list of draftees. Alright, well then, Taiwo, your thoughts on the Ohio State Buckeyes then?
I talked to Joey about it. I said I would have liked an Ivy League school, but Ohio State's good. I know some draftees from Ohio State, but they're not really good in the NBA. Except for
Evan
D'Lo.
Turner was also, and John Havlicek was also.
Greg Oden, Mike Conley, Michael Redd, and yeah, then back in the day, there's been like Herb Williams, John Havlicek, Jerry Lucas, whatever. We're not gonna say Indiana Hoosiers are going to Australia unless you're holding a off-season training camp in Australia, so that's what I'm willing to say. Yeah, so the Ohio State Buckeyes, I don't know how the divisions are gonna shape up. Probably no changes. That would be funny, like the Pacific 6 division having a team from Columbus, but not much you can do, like, really, is there? Like, where would they go from the Pacific 6? I'm unsure. Like, there's a lot of teams on the East Coast in the SBA, and while I wish I could get a program like Wake Forest, that would then be like 3 separate in North Carolina, wouldn't it? I think.
Yeah.
UNC, Duke, and Wake Forest. Well, that's much like the real life Atlantic Coast division, but yeah, well, whatever. Obviously, you prefer out of all the colleges to manage or like coach the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, but Taiwo, do you have like San Diego State or South California?
Stanford.
Stanford.
I would like Stanford. It's close to me, and also I want a school that like is known for smarts, because those schools usually aren't good at sports, but here they can be.
That's true.
Yeah, usually
it's
give or take.
Decent at football.
Yeah, they're decent at football.
Hey, they had a first-round draft pick this year.
Then he left. Oh.
To the NBA.
Yeah, their players always like leave and then they have to rebuild, and it's hard for them to recruit.
Yeah, their guy that like I don't know what's his actual first name, KZ Okpala. He was in Stanford, and KZ.
The team was not good.
Yeah. Well, that's like completely separate. But he was drafted in the first round, I think, to the NBA. So that's actually like a nice achievement. Second round, 32nd overall. Oh, boo-hoo. So not the first round. Well, that just happens then. Yeah, Stanford, they play in the Pacific 12, maybe?
Pac-12.
Yeah. Who are their like main rivals? Trojans?
UC Berkeley's the main rival, and USC.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, it would be like really nice to like actually have 300 recruits each league season and have like a huge NCAA. But yeah, what can you really do? Like, gotta live with what we have. But hopefully the presidents, or if it turns to just one president in the near future, or well, in any sort of future, are more open to like older programs or even newer programs, like changing scenery, like Wichita State. You could throw them anywhere. I don't mind. I don't care about the Shockers, like personally. And then like Gators, because like Florida Gators is University of Florida. It isn't Florida State. Is that
Florida's a football school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Florida State, like they had some NBA players as well, like John Isaac, I think.
He came from FSU.
Yeah, and probably some more of those notable alumni. Xavier Rathan Mays, Dwayne Bacon, Malene Beasley, Sam Cassell actually. Yeah. Because I gotta tell you, I never heard of the Florida Gators before joining the SBA.
No, I knew of them, but never.
They produced Joakim Noah. They produced Noah, Corey Brewer, and somebody else. Oh, Al Horford.
Yes. But yeah, in that case, I wouldn't be surprised if they always like stay as the Florida Gators, because I don't see
But
any reason.
That was it. They never produced anybody else really. Just those 3 people.
I wouldn't be surprised that the Ace would like just keep them as the Florida Jumping Gators, if he hasn't like sent them anywhere so far, and he's pretty into the like Gators thing, the identity. I'm not sure he'd like ever move them anywhere else either. You know what I'm saying, dude? Oh, Billy Donovan used to be their
Coach.
yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah, you always learn something each time. Most of the colleges I knew of before I came to the SBA were like the actual perennial contenders each time. Like, you know, Duke is there, and I'm blanking on some of the other recent like champions, like in the 2010s.
Last season Villanova won, or last year?
Yeah, and Virginia University was.
Yeah, and what, Texas won? No, wait, they didn't win this year, did they? No, they did.
Texas hasn't won in a long time.
Yeah.
Wait, who was it that
sure.
won?
One win. This year was Virginia.
Oh, was it Virginia? Against Texas in the finals, right?
Texas Tech.
Oh, Texas Tech.
Virginia shouldn't have won though.
How come?
They
What
got
happened?
a double in the Final Four.
Oh yeah, that thing. Yeah, so it's been Villanova, 2016 and 2018, then North Carolina, then UConn twice. That I knew because of the Kemba Walker thing. Then I also knew of the Butler, where Brad Stevens and Gordon Hayward used to be.
Yeah, they almost beat Duke.
Yeah, that thing. And then Louisville, I think, won something. Yeah, 2013.
2013, but they took that title away.
Eric Pitino. But yeah, that I knew because of the scandal afterwards, not because of the sport, actually. Yeah, and then there's some where my favorite real life basketballers went, Jimmy Butler went to Marquette, but they're not like noteworthy actually. And then
Didn't
yeah.
Butler won? Like the school, not Butler himself. They won it as Brad Stevens and Hayward was there.
No, they lost 2 times in the national championship.
Oh, they lost in the finals.
Yeah,
Cool.
they lost to Duke in that that game where Hayward missed the shot at the buzzer, I think.
I hate to see it.
Yeah, and then they lost to Kemba's UConn the next year, and then Brad
Okay.
Stevens fucked off, and then Gordon Hayward also was already drafted, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, so that happens. And then like Wake Forest, because Chris Paul and Tim Duncan are from Wake Forest. Then
Yeah.
LSU I knew because of Shaq, of course. Like everyone almost knows that. Like he can't keep his mouth shut about LSU.
Yeah, and what? Ben Simmons was also at LSU.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Gonzaga, I don't know anyone that came from there. But
Kelly
George-
Olynyk.
Oh, okay. Super. Georgetown had that just off the top of my head that I know they had
Patrick Ewing.
and
Allen
Alonzo
Iverson.
Mourning.
Also Allen Iverson, I think.
Wasn't Allen Iverson a Terrapin?
No, he came from
Yeah.
Georgetown.
Georgetown.
Oh. Okay.
Hmm.
So it was probably then between Georgetown and Maryland. That's where he was from. Or I'm confusing him with someone probably. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm unsure like where this thought process is going.
No, I thought I read like someone's Players Tribune article. Whatever.
Yeah. And then like some others I knew, like DJ McConnell was in Arizona, and yeah, that like starts to be about it, like the extent of my college basketball knowledge. Like yeah, there's Kentucky, like we mentioned, because they've had a lot of like great players during their time, and then there's probably like Michigan State, Michigan. Yeah, both of them, I guess.
Yeah, Michigan State had a few good players too. Like Magic was from Michigan. Draymond. I don't know anyone else off the top of my head.
Yeah, Draymond wasn't like they weren't like I mean Draymond wasn't like a top recruit or anything like that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's why he went to the second round.
27th. No, that's Rudy Gobert. Yeah. Second round. Alright, well this is way off the SBA topics by now, but yeah, so Tyvo's pick would be Stanford, and my pick would be like Wake Forest, because there's no Wake Forest in the SBA, NCAA, and then out of all the schools that currently are in SBA, my like real life favorite would be Connecticut, but that job's pretty firmly rooted to Nano, and couldn't go there if I wanted to, right now at least.
Why don't we have Michigan in SBA?
It's a good question.
Michigan is
Yeah,
way
but
better
why?
than Michigan State.
Yeah, but like Michigan State is in all the 2K games. Like Michigan, like is in. What's their team name?
Spartans.
No, like the not State, Michigan.
Oh, they're Michigan Wolverines.
Wolverines. Yes, that's it. Who played there this year? Ja Morant? No, that was
for who?
Murray
No.
State.
Yeah, for which team? Michigan
the-
State?
Iggy Singauskis. I don't know. I don't know.
Brazikis.
The one tall
Yeah,
white guy.
Brazikis. Yeah, exactly. He
They
played there.
always have a tall white guy.
Yeah, he won Big Ten Freshman of the Year too, and
Oh yeah,
He's-
Second round.
he was
he's
drafted
my boy
with
now
the
because
Knicks.
he's a
Yeah.
Knick.
Uh-huh.
So
I see what's going on.
that's how I know he's there.
Yeah. And Texas Tech had DeAndre Hunter?
Culver.
Oh, yeah, Jared Culver. No, that's right.
For 2 years.
Interesting. Any I was just talking in the Duke locker room earlier about Leonard L. Church's career in the Duke University Duke Blue Devils jersey. He's currently second all time in points scored as a Blue Devil, and by far the highest amount of free throws attempted and scored. Right off the top of your head, what are some other like great college careers in the SBA that come to your mind?
I mean, Robo had a great college career, except for the fact that he didn't win the national championship. He really won everything that there was to win. But then he was kind of instantly overshadowed by Mr. X, pretty much, who essentially was kind of not the same player, but a similar archetype, except that he was more successful than, of course, in the grand scheme of things, winning the entire playoffs.
Yeah, and surrounding talent, like obviously played more to Mr. X's favor, in my opinion. Obviously.
For sure. Yeah, Robo was a bit of a one-man army.
Yeah. Mark Diarani Plunderlee wasn't yet up there either, unlike last year. Do you have anything in mind off the top of your head, Taiwo?
Say expansion teams?
What?
Can I say expansion team?
Yeah, sure. If the career is like worth a mention.
Well, so far I have nothing. Oh wait, never mind. I have one that you talked about earlier. What's his name again? Leonard Church.
Yeah.
He had a great career.
Yes.
In the Eden Empire, he's going for the steals record. If he gets it, that'll be good.
Yeah, I'm kind of like gaining the sense that Eden Empire might be uncapping again next year instead of going his 4-year
I think he is.
build. But excited to see it either way. If he decides not to uncap, he has a good chance to become the steals record holder, if not in the Duke University alone, then the whole SBA NCAA.
For now, my next filler, I'm just pumping 99 steals into him, and just so that Duke doesn't have that award.
99 steals probably gives you less steals per game than 85 and 85 with stealing and quickness. But yeah,
That's
sure, go ahead, do that then.
We'll see.
Yeah. One underrated career, in my opinion, is Jake Bombas, also in the Duke Blue Devils, because Shaka left him for dry, basically, midway through Bombas' like second year, something like that. But Jake Bamba finished with 3,954 points, almost 4,000 points for his career, and 2,500 plus rebounds, 500 plus steals, and 500 plus blocks, both. And if like Jake Bamba was an actual active and uncapped and went to the SBA draft like as a regular main character in his 4th year, he'd be like a NCAA Hall of Famer like sort of player, because such a great career even with 199 TPE.
Yeah.
Also the defensive player of the year, I think, as
yeah, he was in
season 37. Yes. Once an all-star, 2 times all-defensive first team in his rookie season and in his senior season, which is a magnificent achievement, in my opinion. Have your guesses at who's the record holder, number 1 and number 2 as points scored in the NCAA in its entirety.
Oh, bro, I've been around for like 4th.
Yeah, I've been as well.
Max Winchester and Mr. X, just because they're the 2 highest score players that I've been around.
This thing skews in favor of 4-year players, of course, because Max Winchester.
That's a valid point.
Max Winchester played for 2 years.
Carmelo Anthony. No, he didn't make it that high.
No, he's pretty up there.
He's up there, but he's not in the top 2.
Yeah, Anthony Caramello is in the top 10, I think. So it's
I believe so too.
So it's Connell McLeod for the Connecticut Huskies at number 1. I have no idea where he's playing right now. Mercer Island Knights, legend, of course. Yes. So 8,439 points, which for a 82 game season, let's see, that's way more points than I assumed per game. Probably should have done these calculations before. 25.7 points per game for Connell McLeod throughout his 4-year college tenure. That's a high mark for anyone to reach. And then second all time in the NCAA would be, I already missed him, Sean Atkins. So that's J Money, I think. Sean Atkins, yes, J Money, playing for the Milwaukee Maulers currently. He finished his NCAA career with 7,350 points, which is 1.7 thousand more than Robotastic Prime had, and more than 2 times the amount that Mr. X had, for example. So yeah, it definitely is in favor of 4-year players.
Yeah, for sure. It makes sense to play an entire season more.
Yeah. Some examples of this is Oregon Ducks top scorer of all time being Stefan Lampe. Virginia Cavaliers all-time top scorer being DeAndre Paxter, who's not even in the league because he was
Notre Dame's all-time leading scorer being, I don't know, probably Joey, to be honest.
No, it's been England by 3,919 to Joey Hatfield's 3,652.
Yeah.
But Tuma Kande probably with a shot to beat that record.
I mean, he's playing a season more than me. I hope so.
Yeah. So he's got 1,002 points from now on to catch up to you, which
for sure
should be easily doable. For the North Carolina Tar Heels, Tyrone King's only 11th, below players like Benjamin F. Taylor, Robert Sharp, Ita the Pizza.
He scored more than me?
Yeah, he scored twice.
Oh, I'm offended.
Yeah, he scored
offended.
he scored 800 more points than you.
Wow. Wow. They should have cut him. Oh, wait, he played 4 seasons, that's why.
Yeah, he played for 4 seasons, that's why.
Okay, it's fine then.
Yeah, and then Ita the Pizza is the 3rd highest scorer in Tar Heels history, and then it's Emidas Player Jr.
Oh, you can't say that name.
Well, fuck. Fuck if I knew. I already said it, so whatever. Then it's Eisen McDougall. Recently retired Eisen McDougall as the top scorer of UNC history. Have a guess at the Duke Blue Devils. Well, Tyvo saw it already, but you'd never guess who's the highest scorer of all time for the Duke Blue Devils pancake?
Tell me.
He's a boss.
Mikey Boss. I don't know who the fuck he is.
Me neither.
I think
He hit 199, then he just stopped
Ah,
everything.
Solid.
I would have guessed him to be like someone, like an actual player who then changed like their name with a reroll later. That would have been my first instinct, but not to be, I guess. Ezekiel Bridges, third all-time West Virginia Mountaineer scoring list. Amare Creed at number 2, trailing Babatunde Warrington by 11 points. So that's something. With the current situation, it looks like Kai Sino might have the best chance of breaking that record out of the current players, but like there's not that much competition right now, I think. And then let's do another lightning round to end it all off here. Arizona would be good. No, it wouldn't. King Gucci, Magic Mike, Korn Strachel, and then Benito de Soto. I have no idea who the fuck any of these people are. No. These can't be the top scorers. Danny Silic is also here. Michael McGrady at number 13. Efodos Pararexis number 17, and yeah, the list goes on. No. Nothing to see here in the end. What are your projections for the SBA playoffs? Who is the strongest team in the SBA currently? Is it the Ravens? Is it the Inferno? Is it the Nightmare still?
I don't cheer for the Nightmare, so Inferno.
Oh,
I
Rampage are on a 10-game win streak as well, so might as well
Yeah.
be Rampage.
I mean, also, I don't have a problem with Nightmare, and seeing as Toki's on that team, I guess I'm for them. Between them and, wait, who's Adrian Columbus on Inferno, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Between the Inferno and the Nightmare for me, I don't really care for any other teams other than Toronto next to that.
Yeah, by that like logic, I should like sort of be cheering for wherever fucking McBuckets is playing.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn,
on the
oh
board,
yeah.
believe.
I was thinking about like Miami Vice.
No, he used to be. No,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
didn't. Never used to be. He's the GM for
He
them.
played last season.
Yeah.
He was
He
traded
was
before.
drafted by their Nightmare, then they traded him
Yeah.
to Vice, and the Vice traded him
Well,
for.
MSM
Well,
traded
who'd they trade him
himself.
for?
They traded like for picks. I don't know.
Okay.
They traded for like the pick that became like Babatunde and then a future pick, I think. So it's actually this time it's Brooklyn giving up picks to the bottom feeders, not the other way around. Which is the tradition, of course. Josh McBuckets, actually, what a fucking nice player. 95 inside, 90 jump shot, 90 free throws,
Oh my
93 point shooting, 92 stealing, 90 quickness, 90 jumping, 90 strength. Woo-hoo-hoo.
It's not bad.
I think the Nightmare won the championship though.
Yeah, I
3-peat?
agree with that.
Toki's gonna be a champion. I'm gonna steal his ring.
When he comes back to work, like you're gonna snatch that thing off his hand. Alright. So the Chicago Nightmare starting lineup, much like the Golden State Warriors of 2019. Samuel Austin Jr. as the point guard, Magnum McCoy as the shooting guard, Sherman Jackson as the small forward, Tuki Lamont at power forward. He's the Kevin Durant. Well, no, Tuki doesn't shoot threes and he's old as fuck, so Maybe he's
Hope he
like
doesn't shoot.
maybe he's like Sean Livingston. Yeah, 2K is Sean Livingston for now.
I mean, Sean Livingston doesn't grab boards like that.
Alfonso McKinney. He
I don't
grabs
know.
boards. Or Damian Jones. Which is
I don't
better?
really keep up with the Warriors, so I know like they're old.
I have to keep up with the Warriors.
Yeah, I also didn't really want to miss the best basketball and best storylines of the NBA playoffs, but that's just down to preference. And then the DeMarcus Cousins of the SBA, Giovanni, Owen Allen Tatum, 2-time MVP, looking to lead his squad to a three-peat. First ballot Hall of Famer, I think. I'm not
What are
sure.
his stats this season?
28.5, 8.4, 6.3, 2
Oh, okay,
steals,
good.
3.8 blocks.
I picked him for fantasy.
I think
TP.
my fantasy group died at one point. Like the draft isn't complete.
Oh, it isn't.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to our group.
Yeah. Ours is complete, but it's like only 3 people were active.
Yeah, like in my group there was a trifecta went inactive, and then the guys treated the draft as complete, I guess, even though I had only drafted 4 players and it wasn't my turn up next. And I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, but us.
Let's see what
Rhodes
KCCO
and-
does with this.
Rhodes and I believe. Oh, I forgot who the second person was. They just quit halfway through. It seems like.
The other team to compete with the nightmare you mentioned was Inferno. Yes, because Doug plays there. So Inferno, they have Mo Fan starting at point guard, Weep to do, Stephen Shepard starting as the shooting guard, then the twin bins, Walter Herman and Troy Simmons, as the 2 garbage men up front, and then your favorite boy Adrian Columbus moving from wherever it was, Houston to Arizona, to compete for a title. Like, it's well contested, I think. But I'll be really sad to see if it ends up like being 2 sweeps, 3 sweeps, and then a 4-1, 4-2 finals between like Boston and OKC. Like, that would be like madness. But would be definitely be more interesting to see what happens there, as like 4 teams, 5 teams are like completely identical in record compared to NCAA, where there's 2 teams that are competitive to this point, and one of them has only 199s, that being the Louisville Cardinals. Are you guys still on the Maryland Terrapins gravy train?
Yeah, I mean, they had a loss to Louisville. I just like in that game, Louisville had like no player that scored more than 20, so that was kind of crazy that they beat them. I mean, all of them had 10 plus, so it
Yeah,
makes sense,
7 people like had 10 plus.
Yeah, I mean, but anyway, I still think in the grand scheme of things, Maryland is the best team in the NCAA as of right now. So, on a regular night, they should win. I mean, upsets happen though, so.
Yeah, well, just like Taibo presented to us last year, fuck what you thought, like one game, one win, that's way easier to do than like a best of 7 series. So don't be surprised if the Longhorns wiggle themselves into the tournament again. Especially
it's easier to set a playoff strat than a regular season strat.
Yeah, because you only have to plan for one team and not for 3 to 4.
Yeah, and if you get lucky, you get lucky. If you get lucky in the regular season, it's just once lucky, not 6 times or how many
Yeah, for
times you
sure.
play in one sim. Uh, will you be offering your consultant services like to teams?
Oh yeah. If Oscar and Joey face up, I will help Joey make a strat. Just to beat Oscar. Oscar can't win the natty like he says he will.
Oh, he won't.
Mm,
But he's
Oscar talks a lot.
he's delusional because he's
Yeah.
a Lakers fan. A lot of Lakers fans are like that.
They really are. Lakers fans are the worst fans in the NBA.
yeah, I think Oscar is letting a bit too loose with his new job recently. Like it's, but I think it'll appease to him enough. But do you guys remember when there was that thing about when I get drafted to the SBA, it's gonna be my team?
He said that.
Yeah.
He was just talking about how he wants to go to LA and stuff.
But at one point
I don't think
he said,
I mean, Zeke also has said
Zeke
stuff
is
like
worse,
that,
though.
and you know Zeke.
Zeke, he calls himself the greatest of all time. He says, "I'm gonna be the greatest SBA player ever."
My favorite thing was at one point he was like, "Teams, don't draft me if you can't start me at shooting guard."
He's 6'10". Why does he want to play shooting guard so much?
I don't know, but
I
like,
think he
there's
should've-
almost no way he's starting at shooting guard. Like, it's more likely if he gets a starting role, it'll be a power forward or small forward, something like
I
that.
think small forward.
But
Mm,
even then, like, if he doesn't start, he's still probably gonna be a small forward.
yeah.
Do you think he'll be good in the SBA for rookie season if he starts?
No.
If he starts, I don't know. I
No.
wouldn't put it past. Like, he'd be on a bad team, so he'd be putting up decent stats probably. I mean, kind of similar to what we did last season, but
For but he does not have as much deep as us.
that's true. But like in
Also,
the
his
long
build-
run,
He's
I think if he stays active, he'll be a good player.
I think he'll stay active.
Exactly. As long as you stay active and update your guy, he'll end up.
Yeah.
Unless you update stupid stuff, but
I trust
Yeah.
Zeke staying active more than Oscar staying active. Because Zeke is always like, when I'm 40, I want to be in SBA.
Hey, I found it.
Oh no.
Uh,
Oh god.
well,
Oh, I actually remember that.
don't draft me unless you plan to start me. No one is
Oh
going
my
to draft
goodness.
you and you'll be forced to retire. Well, then we'll play it that way. When I'm
Yeah,
in the team,
I'm
it's
pretty
my
sure that's where the whole undrafted, like Zeke is going undrafted meme started.
Yeah.
Wait, did this happen? Was this in the general thing today?
No,
No, that
no,
was
this
a
was
while
in the
back.
NCAA chat like a month ago. Like,
Yeah.
Zeke called him dumb.
like can you imagine like what's this thing like Brooklyn drafting Oscar, and the team having like Krieg, Dosbey, Armstrong,
Mm,
DMX.
He'll be mad.
I don't know. I don't really see what's his name? Oscar in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I just don't see like chill.
I think he's going to expansion team.
Yeah, like what team needs a starting point guard? I know there's a lot of
None.
I know
None.
there's a lot of free agency coming up, but only the Vice really would need a starting point guard.
Yeah.
Don't the
I mean,
Vice.
you-
Pablo's
you don't
still
know
better.
what the-
Yeah, Pablo's
Expansion
still
team
better,
is
but
looking like.
Pablo is like 10 years old already.
Yeah.
He's going for the assist record.
I don't think so. There's still like 1.9 thousand assists to go.
Oh, he's not.
Yeah.
So 10
He's gonna be in the
seasons.
SBA for another 10 seasons.
Yeah, like
Our
you,
recreates are coming in. He's still in the SBA.
yeah, you can see the you can see
Mentoring
the-
other new kid.
coming off
Gets
the
like
bench
5
for,
minutes a game, 3
Yeah.
assists, just keeps on going forever. Is
Yeah.
there like a certain time where the sim engine forces you to retire?
If you like are under 250 TPE, they auto retire you.
Yeah, but if you like, if you somehow like manage to like be in the SBA for 22 seasons or whatever, if you can dodge regression, like I assume the simmer would just like change your age to reflect it a bit better, like.
Probably.
But yeah, you can see the regression hitting Pablo. Like there's a season where he hits 1,000 assists, another 1,000 assists, then 1.1 thousand, then 900, and then now it's looking like 840. So yeah, 2,000 more is gonna be a bit tough. Like, but Pablo's a quality player. I don't know if he's said that he's gonna retire. I suppose he has.
If he has, he will in the next season or two. I mean, at this point, it's like you're just upgrading your player, but you're kind of at the point where you were again, like right at the start of your career. I can imagine that's kind of frustrating.
Yeah. All right. We can keep on chatting, but the Pablo Gaucho discussion can end the podcast this week. Thank you very much for joining once again, Pancake.
It was an absolute pleasure.
And then Taiwo.
It was fun, and I get TP for this.
Yeah, well, I tried to include you more than the last time, I guess. Whichever time it was, like, I remember this one time you told Emiris that this is way more than 600 words I've spoken, and then the next podcast you were on, you like said 7 short 10-second quotes, and us was like, yeah, thanks guys. That's my 6TP for the week.
I mean, my favorite podcast appearance still was the one where Robo was on for the like conclusion. He like said 2 sentences and then his goodbye and claimed TPE for it, and I guess the updater didn't listen to the podcast.
Yeah. But then there was this the one podcast where we actually had a talk with Robo at the end.
Yeah.
Like, so I tried to like make it serious TP gains for him. But from Okocha by Okocha it's been to Okocha as well. Thank you for listening to 5 of the Week. If the next episode you'll hear is called Campus Police, don't worry, it's still the same show. Bye!